And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am back with another part of our best cards under blank series. So today we're going to be counting down the top 10 best cards under or right at 10k MT. So let's get some parameters out of the way here. Now, I am recording this earlier in the morning, where cards are typically their highest price, at least with the buy it now cards generally. Because there aren't a lot of people putting up cards at, when I'm recording this, 9 a.m. So we'll see exactly what these cards go for by the end of the day. Every card that I'm including on here for at least the last 3 to 4 days has been under 10k MT. So some may at this stage be like 11, but they will drop down below 10k. More than likely around when everybody gets off work and school later today. So we'll start off with some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is Pink Diamond Zach LaVine. You know, a lot of the people got this card from a locker code. Not this Pink Diamond, this one. This Pink Diamond Zach LaVine is incredible. He is a little bit outdated. He came out on February 10th, which, you know, it's been a little bit, but at the same time, like, this card's still really good. He's got 21 hops, 27 golds. Pretty much every badge that you need him to have, he has. There's nothing wrong with this card whatsoever. He's basically like a super budget T-Mac. I would say he's right around, at least as far as like how good the card is, he's right around how good Inferno T-Mac is. Inferno T-Mac is slightly better, but Inferno T-Mac costs 150k, whereas this Zach LaVine card costs around 14 to 10k, just kind of fluctuates. Like, we got one for 10.8 right here. He might even dip below 10k, but this card is one that I've seen really fluctuate, and it's been mostly above 10k, so that's why he is an honorable mention as opposed to being on the list. Next up, we got another card that I actually like quite a bit, and that is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is really good. Once again, another card that's, he's not outdated by any means, but he's getting there, you know? Just with his badge count, I personally think he's incredibly usable still. He has every important badge that you'd want him to have, at least Hoff or Gold. Great defender. He's not the best ball handler, but he's a 3-and-D wing, with some rim attacking qualities as well. He dunks super duper hard. He still, like, can shoot just fine. He is missing like a couple badges, so like, depending how you use your shooting guard, you're going to need to apply various badges to him. He is missing like clutch shooter and flexible, so. And if you're on next gen, obviously blinders, which personally I don't think it's worth applying a badge that costs 25k to a card that costs you like 10. I don't think that's worth it. You could just go buy one for like 30. Check out my top 10 cards under 50k list if you want guys like that. But Wiggins, he does fluctuate, and he drops below 10k occasionally. But for the most part, he has been above 10k, which is why he is in the honorable mention section as opposed to being on the actual list. Next up, a card that can drop close to 10,000, but for the most part has been a little bit above it. But come on, I can't not talk about Magic Johnson. 15k, this card is next level good, especially if you're playing Triple Threat Online. This card is one of the top tier Triple Threat Online cards in the game. He honestly plays pretty well as a power forward as well if you use him in like a Draymond style role, like a point forward. Definitely deserves to be in the honorable mention. And then this guy, there's other cards that I could mention as far as an honorable mention, but this dude is no joke. Like, Matt Bonner. Matt Bonner, you can get him for, like, I'm not even kidding, 2k MT. This dude is a 6'10" Klay Thompson. He's got a wet jump shot. Like, he's an amethyst card with 19 Hoff badges and 34 golds. Like, that's the same as diamonds we were getting like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They've definitely set the power balancing standards in regards to, like, amethyst, diamonds, and pink diamonds with this last set, which is what they do with large promo sets. They'll usually set the kind of range for power balancing as far as tiers go for at least a few weeks with each large promo set, and that's what they did with the Warped Reality set. Every amethyst we're going to get from this point forward is going to have almost, you know, 16 to 20 Hoff badges, you know, 30 golds. That's kind of what we're looking at now, and Matt Bonner is nice. He's like a budget, think about Opal Dirk. He's budget Opal Dirk, basically. Like, he does everything that Dirk Nowitzki does with a little bit different jump shot. I personally think Dirk's is easier to green, but Matt Bonner's, being that Klay Thompson release, makes a lot more whites, and it's better off the catch and shoot. Look, if you have an extreme budget team, Matt Bonner is a perfect way to start your team out. This dude can compete with high-tier centers, or at least opals for the most part. I mean, Wilt's probably going to do him dirty, but you know, you get what I'm saying. So let's start out with the list. We're going to start with a really cheap card, and you knew he was coming. Kirk Hinrich. Kirk Hinrich you can get for like 3K. If you remember Ruby Rex Chapman and how good he was, that's basically what this Kirk Hinrich is. He is a way upgraded version of that Rex Chapman card. He's got Ray Allen base, which makes the most whites in this game. It's not even particularly close. Like, same release as Rex Chapman. It's not exactly Ray Allen base. It's a little bit different. I think it's Jump Shot 22 is what Kirk Hinrich has. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same as Ray Allen base. The timing's really, really similar. The jump shot itself is pretty similar, and the amount of whites it makes is very similar. Other notable cards that would have this jump shot would be Chris Mullin, Jimmy Butler, I believe Diamond, Bob Sura, and Diamond Bob Sura, and that's it. And obviously Ruby Rex Chapman. So this card is pretty good. He does everything like relatively good. Like I said, he's got a jump shot very comparable to Ray Allen's jump shot, which is very, very nice. It's not exactly the same, but I compare those two because those two make the most whites out of any jump shots in this game, in my opinion. So if you're looking for a scoring threat point guard that can play a little bit defense, like Kirk Hinrich's like 6'4", but he's got a decent wingspan, I would go with Kirk Hinrich. And for 2K, I don't really think you can do too much better. Next up, we're going to go a pure shooting guard, and that's Mo Peterson. Pink Diamond. Mo Peterson is really good. People kind of forgot about him because he came out in that Idol set, which people thought was really, really bad. But you can get this guy for under 10K, somewhere around 7 or 8 for the most part. At the most, you're paying like 10 or 11K at the most. And I think even at that price, he's really worth it. Like, Mo Peterson is a lights out shooter. He's big. He's 6'7". He does a little bit of everything, like 97 3-point shot. He can dunk a little bit at 88 too. Like, he plays decent defense. It's not great. He does have issues. Like, he's not a great defender, but he's a lights out shooter. He has a great jump shot. You can do a lot worse than Mo Peterson is basically what I'm saying. Another guy from the Idol set that I think gets forgot about is Hakeem Warwick. Like, if you're looking for like a budget wing or a budget power forward, like, you can do a lot worse than Hakeem Warwick. Hakeem Warwick's actually really good. You can get him for right around 10K. He does drop below pretty frequently. See, right now the lowest one is about 9.8. Which isn't terrible, but Hakeem Warwick is solid. 6'9" power forward. He's got good size. He's got that little like chin strap beard thing that everyone had in 2008, a la John Salmons. And he wears a headband, which is key. 97 driving dunk. 84 three-pointer is not great, but you can throw a little shoe on him, get him up to 87. You have a coach, he's at 91. It's totally fine. 86 ball handle, which is like the generic ball handle that anyone kind of gets. He plays pretty good perimeter defense and pretty good interior defense. Not really great at either, but he plays both of them just fine, so you can kind of fluctuate him between positions. Good rebounding stats, good speed, 98 vertical. Like, he dunks really hard. As far as badges goes, like, he's got pretty good badges. I wish he had Hoff Corner Specialist, but he doesn't. But he's got Clamps, Intimidator, Heart Crusher, every finishing badge, Showtime, Quick First Step, Unpluckable, which is key. Only Gold Corner Specialist, but it's not that big of a deal. He's even got like Gold Dimer and Pickpocket and stuff like that. Tight handles, Gold Range, which honestly, if you play with power forward, you don't really even need him to have Hoff Range if you run Hawks Freelance for the most part. You do need Flexible and Green Machine and a couple other badges, but relatively complete card for 9K, like, for being honest. Next up, we got our number 7 card, and this is a card I definitely think is close to being outdated, and if Andrew Wiggins was consistently under 10K, he would probably have taken this spot, would be Malik Sealy. Now, like I said, if you have 10K and you're looking for a good card, like, you can get Malik Sealy around 6K, which is pretty solid. Though I would say if you have that 10K and you're looking for a shooting guard, especially like a 3-and-D one, I personally would pick Andrew Wiggins, but Malik Sealy is basically a budget Kawhi Leonard, so if you're a big Kawhi Leonard fan, this is kind of the card for you. He does need some badges as well, but his badge count is pretty solid. He's definitely getting outdated. It's been a while since he came out. I believe he came out in the same set as like Dirk and Jokic, I believe. Good card, though. Great badge count. He doesn't really need too many badges to really get going. I think he needs Flexible and Deadeye. Yeah, Flexible, Deadeye, and Green Machine. Not terrible. I mean, I wouldn't recommend spending that much MT to put him on him. I would just grab a card with those badges, but you know, if you're looking for a card to play against the CPU or do anything like that, or even just playing games, you can get badged up Malik Sealy's for really cheap as well. So next up, we got our number 6 pick, and you could argue any of these cards from like 10 to 6 being anywhere on this list, but Gerald Green. I think personally Gerald Green's better than Malik Sealy. I really do think that. I think he has a jump shot's a wash. Like, I think both are okay enough that they're not really that big of a deal. But Gerald Green is just a ridiculous defender and ridiculous dunker. Like, he dunks so hard. He has Hall of Fame flexible, Hall of Fame range. If you're on next gen, he has Hoff blinders off the rip, which is key. Defensive badges, Malik Sealy has a little bit better, but at the same time, Gerald Green brings you so much on offense, especially like having Deadeye, having Hot Zone. He doesn't really need anything necessarily, and I think that's kind of key. Maybe you can give him, like, I don't know, post move lockdown or rim protector or dimer or flashy passer, but I think for the most part he's pretty complete, and I think that's why he deserves to be ranked a little bit higher, just because, like, complete cards are different. Next up, we got our number 5, and I think this is pretty accurately ranked right here, and that's KarlAnthony Towns. Whether that be the hero version or the regular version, the regular version seems to drop below 10k a lot more often than the hero version, but if you wanted to spend an extra 2k and, you know, for like 11 or 12 and get the hero version, he does come with one additional Hoff badge, so it might be worth that extra couple k. But Cat's really good. He does have like some very noticeable disadvantages, that being like he's not a good ball handler at all. So if you like to ball handle with your center, Cat's probably not going to be the guy for you, but he does everything else pretty well. He plays pretty competent defense, great rebounder, pretty easy to time jump shot, can shoot from deep. If you're running Hawks freelance, he'll end up being at the top of the key a lot, and that's kind of key for you. You can just kick right out to him for open threes pretty often. There's a reason you run into this guy so much. He's cheap and he's very, very good. Next up, we got my number 4 pick, and this one, depending on the person, you could argue this guy deserves to be number 1. It just kind of depends on play style, and that's Tyrese Haliburton. He's a beast. He's got great size, great athletic ability. The one thing I will say is his jump shot has a little bit of a learning curve to it. It's kind of strange, but badge-wise, 22 Hoffs, 30 golds. Like, he's got pretty much every badge that you need. The kicker is he's 6'5", and you can play him at both point guard and shooting guard. Like, he has the size to play both positions, and I think that's kind of key. And more importantly, he has the badges to play both positions. And he has some really good badges, especially for buying a card under 10k. Like, getting a card with tight handles, unpluckable, flexible, hot zone, clamps, range, floor general. Having all those guys, like Hoff. Also, he has dimer. Like, he's just an altogether good card. I mean, you've heard a lot of content creators talk about this Tyrese Haliburton card, and there's a reason for that. He's good. Number 3 is a recent card, and I really do think this card is incredible, and that's Eddie Curry, man. Big boy Eddie Curry can do a lot. It's just crazy that a center this complete could go for under 10k. Like, as you can see, there's a lot of them up right now, but you can get this guy for like 7 or 8k, no question. 7 feet tall, which is huge, right? 93 three-pointer, which, dude, Eddie Curry was on the Bulls. I watched this man play so much basketball in my younger days. This dude does not have a 93 3 in real life. He's got a 95 driving dunk and a 95 standing dunk. Like, I love what they do to Eddie Curry. Young kids probably think Eddie Curry was an absolute god on the basketball court, but really he averaged like 11 points a game and had to flame out of the league due to heart palpitations. I don't know what to tell you. 86 ball handles, pretty good. 92 block. 90 interior defense is really the only thing I think that I'm looking at him being like, okay, that could be better. But like a man this big with the 90 speed, 98 vertical, he's got good tendencies. Badge-wise, he's got 24 Hoffs, 20 golds, and his Hoff badges are very nice, like clamps, intimidator. He has like catch and shoot and corner specialist. Intimidator obviously is huge. Showtime, quick first step. He's got Hoff flexible, Hoff, hot zone, range. He's even got brick wall if you feel like it. He doesn't really need any badges necessarily. Even his gold badges are good. Like, he has gold unpluckable, which is awesome. As far as badges you want to give him, like, if you run him at point center, yeah, dimer would be helpful. So interceptor and heart crusher are key. I will say that. Maybe some finishing badges. Space creator, like I said, if you create off the dribble, that's key. Deadeye, green, machine, blinders. I mean, I guess floor general. You're not going to be able to get as complete of a center for less MT, or even this range of MT. Like, KarlAnthony Towns isn't even as complete as Eddie Curry is, in my opinion anyway. Next up, we got a card that the reason I have him on this list is because he does go below 10k very often, and that's Richard Dumas. So even if he's not right now below 10K, like, because I'm recording this like pretty early, 10.6. Oh, here, yeah, 9.85. So he's below 10. Richard Dumas is he's a nightmare, dude. If you like Paul George, you'll love Richard Dumas. Richard Dumas is essentially just Charles Barkley. Like, he's exactly what Charles Barkley would be in 2K. Also, what's really cool about Richard Dumas is basically like, he's so good. Like, the fact that this card is so cheap is just crazy to me. There's nothing wrong with this card at all. 6'7" at the power forward is about the only thing wrong with this card, but it doesn't even matter. I'm glad they gave my man Richard Dumas respect, dude. And he kept getting kicked out of the league for smoking cannabis products and other things, which that's on him, I suppose. And he never really got to show his full NBA potential. Here we are with a sick-ass Richard Dumas card, and I think 2K has finally found a way around Charles Barkley not allowing himself into 2K, because they're just going to turn every Richard Dumas card into Charles Barkley, and if I was Richard Dumas, I would be beyond hyped right now. But if you need a well-rounded wing or big man, I don't think there's a card in this game at this price point that's as good as Richard Dumas. Like, I'd be willing to say Richard Dumas is, I can't say he's really better than Magic Johnson at everything, but he's definitely better than him at a lot, and he plays a different style, so it really just depends on the style you're looking for. I mean, he can point forward a little bit, but it's not something I recommend doing. But he's nice, man. Like, Richard Dumas he's good. Badge-wise, like, he's stacked. He has a bunch of defensive badges, which are awesome, bunch of finishing. He has, like, the very solid mix of Hoff badges that you would want to see. He even has, like, tight handles and unpluckable, so he can run a point forward. Now, his shooting badges are a little low, like they're gold shooting badges. He does need a couple upgraded, which is fine. Like, he has gold flexible, gold hot zone, gold range. He even has gold floor general. Now, some badges he might need, box would be very important, and worm, and deadeye, and blinders on next gen. But other than that, Richard Dumas I cannot recommend high enough for most people. It's great. And number one, this one is controversial, but I really do think that this card is really getting slept on as far as how good he is. And that's Justice Winslow. This card, man, I've been using him all weekend, and I'll preface this by saying I did like the Pink Diamond Justice Winslow that we had last year in the Spotlight Sim set, but at the same time, I am not a Justice Winslow fan. Like, I'm not. I usually do not like him in 2K, but this card is different. Like, 6'7" point guard, right? You would think that he's just a slasher, but no, he can do everything. The 86 ball handle is a little bit of a problem, but it's really not that bad. 92 speed, 90 perimeter defense could definitely be better, but he's so big it's not that big of a deal, especially because he has a 95 lateral quickness. He's nasty. Like, this card should not be 10K. This card should absolutely not be 10K. I'm glad it's 10K. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm super glad that it's this cheap, but there's no reason for him to be this cheap other than the Warped Reality packs suck. Like, that's the only reason he's this cheap. The chance of getting a high tier card is, like, so minuscule that someone like Justice Winslow, who really is way better than his diamond ranking, is even below or at 10K. He has every badge that you need. If you need a point guard that can run stuff, and someone that you can be confident in going against some of the more premier point guards in this game, there's no better card than Justice Winslow. So, that was the list. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I appreciate you guys for watching these. They're kind of low. And I know there's at least some guy that's going to be like, why don't you have Simbular in here? That's because Simbular, in my opinion, sucks, but some people like him. If you want, like, a big, obnoxiously obese center that's going to be able to pull up and shoot threes with a really ugly-looking jump shot at 7'5", Simbular is definitely there, but I just think he doesn't hold a candle to a lot of the cards in this list. And honestly, what am I going to do? Take Kirk Heinrich off? Absolutely not. So, if you haven't already, go check out my second channel. I'm going to be doing show content and a bunch of other stuff over there. So, go check that out if that's interesting to you. I just dropped a video yesterday. Check the description for all my stuff. I'll be back with more content later. So, peace out, guys.